Hello, you're welcome to the Channel 1 Newsroom. We're broadcasting live from our studio at number 5 Ola Hansen Lane at Tesano here in Accra. I am Charles Osukumi. Coming up. National Peace Council urges swift action from the IGP on investigations into the Kukurantumi unrest after a suspect allegedly died in police custody. Also coming up, pressure group Fix the Country renews its call for a state of emergency to tackle illegal mining, warning it threatens Ghana's future.
These young people don't have a life. They don't have a future. The water they are drinking and bathing and it is used to cook for them is contaminated with pollutants, mercury, cyanide, heavy metals. And they have a baby on the way. And that baby too, what future will the baby have?
Communities in Afutu and Gumuafete face rising risk of waterborne diseases as the Kwenyaku water plant remains shut.
Before, about 3 times a day, but now, sometimes 1. Sometimes I'll go and I will not get some. I don't know what is going on. For me, I cannot explain.
Private developers in Askorimampon given 1 week to pull down unauthorized structures on waterways as the assembly moves to clamp down on illegal construction.
There's a lot of indiscipline within the fiscal planning space, within the municipality. And this is something that I'm willing to confront head on. This is not the first of its kind that I've done. And we will continue. This one will go down, and effectively all others that are illegally put up will go down in the coming weeks.
Coming up in CNR Business. Computing companies eager to win various disciplines at the City Business Olympics coming off this Saturday. And later in Channel 1 Sports. Football stars gather in Paris to award outstanding personalities. Grateful to you for choosing the Channel 1 Newsroom. Let us now settle for the details of the bulletin. We begin from the Eastern region, where police reinforcements have been deployed from the Eastern Regional Command to Kukurantumi following an attack on the local police station by irate youth after the alleged death of a suspect in custody. In a statement, the Eastern Regional Police Command announced the temporary closure of the Kukurantumi police station as investigations continue. Eastern Regional Minister Rita Watu, speaking to Channel 1 News, indicates that calm has since been restored to the community.
Lot of breakages, louvers and doors opened and louvers breakages and other things. True that 2 policemen also got hurt. And one of them nearly lost the eye. But after so many attempts by the police, tension has calmed down and calmness has returned to Kukurantumi. I visited the place and I went to the house of the bereaved and we sympathized with them. We assured them of government support and that we are going to carry out every investigation to really know what's happened. And I had the opportunity of talking to the youth of the area too. So all that I have to tell the people listening to me and the people of Eastern Region is that tension has calmed down in Kukurantumi and there is peace in Kukurantumi.
Meanwhile, the National Peace Council is calling for thorough investigations into the incident that sparked unrest in Kukurantumi in the Eastern Region. Channel 1 News' Daniel Sakite has more.
The unrest was triggered by the death of Bright Kina, popularly known as D-Ball, who had been arrested for unlawful entry and stealing. He later died while receiving treatment at the community hospital in Kukurantumi. The incident forced the Ghana Police Service to temporarily shut down the Kukurantumi police station and withdraw all officers from the area. Executive Secretary of the Peace Council, George Amu, speaking at an event to mark the International Day of Peace, urged the Inspector General of Police to ensure investigations are carried out thoroughly and their findings acted upon.
And these are issues that require thorough investigations, first to establish the reasons or the what led to this. I think that must be established very well and on principles that are based on law. I want to encourage, I think IGP is on top. We want to encourage him to let this go through the full-scale investigations and whatever recommendations come up, let us have the courage to implement them for the sake of the future for our country.
United Nations Resident Coordinator in Ghana also called for deliberate measures to safeguard the country's peace in the face of regional instability.
Ghana has always been very bold, always standing on the right side of peace, trying to ensure that nations which are falling into conflict or are in conflict should be looking at dialogue, should be looking at negotiation, ceasefire. And Ghana has always called for focus on human beings and the human rights of all civilians in particular.
Meanwhile, board member of the Peace Council and spokesperson for the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Arime Al-Shaibu, is urging the government to take decisive action against illegal mining known as galamsey. He warned of the environmental and social dangers it poses and urged authorities to respond to concerns raised by pressure group Democracy Hub.
They've lived under the former regime. They are also living in this same regime. Maybe they feel what the reason for which they protested under the former regime, probably they see a continuation of it again. And they want to bring more pressure to bear on the current government also to take action. Well, I hope the government will listen. You see how water bodies have been polluted. We've seen it. The dangers that we are likely to import water. Yes, I'm a Muslim. I use water a lot. Every day, 5 times a day I pray. I need water. But if the water that I will use has been polluted. Now we cannot tell the kind of water we are taking.
As Ghana continues to be an oasis of peace in a troubled region, the National Peace Council is calling for measures to preserve the country's peace while also backing calls for tougher measures against illegal mining. For Channel 1 News, I am Daniel Sakite.
Well, the water crisis in the central region is deepening. While residents of Afutu municipality face the looming threat of an outbreak, communities in Gumuafete are already battling signs of waterborne diseases. The shutdown of the Kwenyako water treatment plants for over 2 weeks, coupled with contaminated water supply, the Winneba headworks has left thousands stranded. Central Regional Correspondent Akwesiado has more.
In Kojobedu North, Afutu municipality, taps run only occasionally. Residents often keep vigil through the night to store water when pipelines are activated.
For the frequency of flow has reduced drastically, and we don't have our taps flowing regularly these days. And even when it flows, the quality of the water, as I have been observing, is drastically reducing. It's become worse over the past months. If you fetch a bucket of water and you leave it for about some minutes, the particles that settles is mind-boggling.
But when water flows, it is visibly contaminated. Heavy clay particles settle at the bottom of containers after a few hours.
Almost 2 months we don't have water, and people have been complaining no water.
What's the quality of water, even when supply comes?
Very bad. It's like cocoa drink. That's the color of the water. Yeah. So when you fetch it, you have to put it down for some time for the dirt to settle under.
In nearby Kojobedu, food vendors and standpipe operators are being forced out of business. The assemblyman for the area says complaints from residents are overwhelming.
I have been receiving many complaints from my electorates. complaining about the flowing of the water, which is not coming. As an assemblyman, I need to speak to my people for them to calm down. Whenever the tap is flowing, I also advise them to store some water so that in future they can use it.
In coastal communities such as Sankor, Alatakokodo, and Sekejano, residents are forced to rely on unsafe dugouts and wells, despite being hit hard by last year's cholera outbreak. Food vendors there openly admit cooking with unsafe water.
Open so I need to the idea where they.
Nti efini akadasa na ma hwen nti mo hwen na me da ye medwuma mpere me de ye say dem do apia na mo ton oni be dem tetew na me de ye medi be.
At 74, Comfort Cole, a physically challenged woman, struggles daily to find water for herself and her 86-year-old sister. Living in a story building worsens her plight, especially with inconsistent flow and rising tariffs.
At times, when you fetch the water, it's not that all that clear. I don't think it's possible for human to be drinking, And then at times, it goes off.
When it goes off, in your condition, how do you survive? Where do you get water?
I have money to pay to the water works, so I don't use to sell. So when they come, I don't give them. I have problem.
The Ayonsu River, once a source of fish and irrigation, is now heavily polluted.
Enka nanka yechi nam wom. Enka na ebotuma asa wonsu bi na da water wundua ba idua. Na sisia because of heavy metals na wonsu mu nti no. Intum mpo na asa na kededi kwekogu crops na do. Na you serve as a source of irrigation for farmers around Winneba. And the sisia woye in the dubiara.
Yet, in communities like Silver Chrome, residents still draw water from the river without treatment. Municipal Chief Executive Atta Mensah says the Assembly is considering drilling boreholes as a contingency measure.
10 boreholes, and the 10 boreholes with the immediate step we are looking at 5 boreholes. Here the nature of our land is being affected with iron and salt, so we are looking at how best we can get RO filtration plant where we can use it so that we can get that expected outcome.
In Gomua East, the crisis is even more dire. The only reliable standpipe in Gomua Fete has been dry for over 5 months.
About once nature. Not being so to be about an adjono. Bay 12 would be a baba at the cheap nature. It's hard the years soon yet.
Residents say they can no longer maintain personal hygiene.
Before, about 3 times a day, but now, sometimes 1. Sometimes I'll go and I will not get some. I don't know what is going on. For me, I cannot explain. Yes.
Schools are heavily affected. At Feteman SHS, students rely on unsafe water, leading to typhoid infections.
This thing started about 2 weeks ago when the headmistress called me that there's water shortage in the school and we have to arrange for water for the students. In fact, since then, I'm wondering what is happening. Currently, the borehole that we have, the machines are not working. So keeping children there in this condition is terrible.
Health workers at the Fete Chips compound confirm a surge in waterborne diseases.
People will come here with diarrhea and then a place to poo-poo, because when they poo-poo, they have to flush, and there is no water, so we are really struggling with water.
The Dratwahin of Gomua Fete, Nana Kwesiahin, has appealed to government to tackle illegal mining in the Ayonsu River, which he blames for the crisis.
Nana what's now Chinamkotusu, Wanka 800 Ghana cities. Yet the yin paying an overtum. What to be? Since our Chabia, so Yako Piaber. And the Slaban there, Obuchin Washi, Yensu Samano. Imiano, Adibio, your home be on shore ye.
While the Konyakon Headworks has completely shut down, The Winneba headworks continues to operate, but produces water suspected to be contaminated by galamsey. Professor Sam Newton of KNUST School of Public Health warns that Ghana risks a major health crisis if illegal mining persists.
You see, some of the water contains heavy metals. There are children who are being born with all kinds of deformities. And these are not things we should just sit by and watch. We should make sure that we educate people to understand that it's not enough to just chase money, but we should think of our health and the health of our children.
It's getting out of hand. The greed of few who believe they have to destroy our environment to make ends meet is going unchecked. We only perhaps make an effort but unable to nib it in the bud. We must all collectively talk about it, else there will be no country for us.
Inconsistent flow, and then when there is a flow also, the water looks contaminated. Residents of Winneba fear there may be an outbreak of infections as a result of this water crisis, and therefore calling for immediate intervention. For the Channel 1 Newsroom, I am Akwesi Ado, Winneba, Central Region.
Let's stay with illegal mining. The Fix the Country movement is renewing its call on government to declare state of emergency to tackle the menace of galamsey. The demand comes after a protest in Accra to highlight the devastating impact of illegal mining on the nation's forests, rivers, and farmlands. There is more in the following report.
Clad in red and black, demonstrators gathered at Spanner near the Accra Mall on Monday, holding placards that underscored the urgent need to end illegal mining. Protesters insisted the situation has reached crisis levels and demanded government declare a state of emergency. Convener of the movement, Oliver Baka-Vomawo, emphasized that the movement will sustain pressure on authorities until concrete measures are implemented.
We're encouraging the government to keep doing what they claim to be doing. So let's continue doing it. There's nothing that is stopping the government from intensifying its efforts, from continuing to do what is working. Our role as citizens is to remind them of the urgency of the problem. And that's what we are doing, continuing to remind them of the urgency of it. If they believe they are doing it, they are doing it. If Ghanaians feel that there's no problem anymore, there's nobody who's going to show up. So our interest is to end the problem. The conversation is not about what to be declared, it's about whether or not we are fighting that state with the appropriate tools. So for me, it's not about a declaration. It's a recognition of the situation in which we already are, and whether or not the appropriate tools are being used to fight the problem we are dealing with.
The protest, which was heavily policed, remained peaceful as participants marched to the Revolutionary Square. Demonstrators warned that without urgent intervention, Ghana risks losing its natural resources and endangering food security and safe drinking water. The group later presented a petition to government calling for immediate and firm action to combat illegal mining.
These young people don't have a life. They don't have a future. The water they are drinking and bathing and it is used to cook for them is contaminated with pollutants, mercury, cyanide, heavy metals. And they have a baby on the way. And that baby too, what future will the baby have? So today we are here for the future generation. Just like Farida Mahama is a loved daughter, so are these three children, loved children. And the father of all has a duty to these young people. It is his duty to provide them, all of them, with safe environment, clean air, healthy crops and food, and cleanest thing of all, water, because water is life. They need it.
Well, let's stay with this protest. We're joined in studio by a member of the Fix the Country movement, Edward Tuto, to discuss what happened earlier today. Good evening to you. You're welcome.
Yeah, good evening.
Good day. Numbers, you think that a lot of people came to support your cause today?
It's not about the numbers, it's about the message. And we believe that our very objective was to send the message out there that galamsey is still an existential threat. It was years back. It was under the previous administration, and under the new NDC government, it is still an existential threat. And we need everybody to understand, once it's an existential threat, it affects our very survival. Galamsey is polluting the water that we drink, the air that we breathe, and the food that we eat. Ghana Academy of Arts and Science have told us that the food that is coming from the Galamsey-prone areas, the mercury content in them is very high. When you consume them, you're actually poisoning yourself. The heavy metals are going to attack your soft tissues, your kidney, your liver, and all others. You understand? When you talk about water, we can't live without water. The Ghana Water Company is saying that the turbidity levels in our waters now has skyrocketed to 32,000 NTU. That is alarming. This has never happened before. You understand? Therefore, we are saying that, look, Galamsey needs to be tackled head on. We don't need to massage the issues. We don't need to pretend as if we don't know what is going on. And I was happy when the president, on his thank you tour in the month of July, precisely Tuesday, 15 July 2025, in the Western North region, he admitted publicly that Galamsey is now a national emergency. And if it's a national emergency, we are saying that the president should declare a state of emergency. The problem of Galamsey is a clearly cut problem, and the solution to Galamsey is also clearly cut. Repeal LI 2462 and declare a state of emergency. And that is our message.
We're told that the LI will be repealed when Parliament reconvenes next month. On the issue of the state of emergency, the president doesn't seem enthused about that. He says we've not exhausted all the avenues that we have to deal with the problem. They're deploying the Blue Water Guards. They're using the military, the police. Are these measures not enough 8 months into a new administration?
Yes, so let's take it from there. 8 months. To repeal LI 2462, it does not, for us to even come 8 months on a matter as dreadful as this, it's even disappointing in the first place. All we keep hearing is, you know, Honorable Amakofipo has written a letter to the AG. All we keep hearing is small, smoky steps that you see and will just disappear. We need concrete action. We need something emphatic. You understand? So we are happy that the president says when Parliament reconvenes, they are going to repeal. But until it is repealed, LI 2462 is repealed, we cannot take it and accept that the government is really committed to the fight against Galamsey. Now let's come to the state of emergency. Look, so many people are trying to whitewash the issues, trying to say that when you declare state of emergency, human rights are going to be trampled upon, there's going to be fear and panic. That is palpable falsehood. When in this country, when the previous president, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, during the time of COVID, declared state of emergency, true or false? That is true. What happened? Were human beings killed rampantly like that? People were not killed. No rights were violated. It was because we believe that COVID is a national emergency. That is why state of emergency was declared. And we are saying that what can be more dreadful than kidney cases? Kolebu is saying that between January 2025 to July 2025 alone, over 2,000 complicated kidney cases have been reported at Kolebu alone. Mind you, this does not include those that have not been reported. And this is only Kolebu. Have you been to Konfanoche? Have you been to Tamale Teaching Hospital? Have you been to the Accra Regional Hospital or the polytechnics nationwide? We should bring all those numbers together. We are talking about over millions of complicated kidney cases. If this is not a national emergency, I don't know what else is. Look, when you go to the central region, water cannot be processed. The headworks have been shut down. You go to Bonsa in the Takwa, water processing plants have been shut down. You go to the eastern region, water processing plants have been what? Shut down. And the Ghana Water Company said that, look, where the turbidity levels have reached 30,000 and over, they cannot process water for us to drink. So if this is not a national emergency, I don't know what else is.
So in your estimation, if the political will is there, this matter shouldn't take us 8 months to solve.
It shouldn't take us 8 months because, look, we, the youth of this country, we were very much clear in our minds that the president, the executive presidency, then Nanado, he had the power to trigger the state of emergency. He didn't have the political will, and that is why we went on rampage against him, and a new president has come. On the matter of LI 2462, President John Dramani Mahama said in his campaign, on his campaign platforms, that if Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo failed to repeal LI 2462, one of the things he's going to do first within his 120-day contract with us is that he was going to repeal LI 2462 and he's going to bring Galamsey under control. What has happened? He has breached the social contract with us. LI 2462 is still active. People are mining recklessly, irresponsibly in our river bodies and our forest reserves. And state of emergency, he's actually backtracking. He's actually backtracking. So, Mr. President, what is the issue? What are you afraid of? What is it with Galamsey that any president that comes does not have the political will not put the welfare of citizens first? Now let's come to the matter of the gold board. Look, when we look at the gold board, they have not been clear with us where they are getting their gold from. They tell us that, oh, they are getting it from artisanal miners,
small-scale
miners. But that is not clearly defined. Because all those who are in the forest reserves, all those who are in our riverboard, they'll tell you that they have licenses. So right now, those who have licenses, who are engaged in irresponsible mining, what is being done to them? And our commander-in-chief, the president, when he was asked, he said he can't differentiate between gold coming from Galamsey areas, those coming from responsible miners. Once it is gold, it is gold.
Well, the president is currently out of the country. So what happens after today? I mean, what are the next steps for Fix the Country after this?
We have an executive president. In his absence, we have a vice president. We have a whole minister in charge of our environment. We have a minister in charge of our natural resources. We also have a national security coordinator, national security minister, and the entire security apparatus. What we are saying is that if the government, led by John Dramani Mahama, wants to really bring Galamsey under control, they can do it. And any delayance, any further delayance in the declaration of a state of emergency to keep Galamsey only stands one message, that the government itself and its assigns are neck deep into Galamsey. And we, the youth of this country, we are not going to stop. We are not going to relent. We will still speaking up. We'll be going on the streets, and our actions are actually going to escalate because we cannot put our life on the line for whatever reason. Right. If the gold board says that they are within a 4-month period, they are actually raking in over $4 billion, and part of that proceed is being injected into the forest market to stabilize the city. Are we saying that we are putting
exchanging human lives for
we are putting our human lives, our kidneys, our livers, the unborn generation? What is actually going on is a generational extinction. Children being born with deformities and all of that. So are we putting the next generation on the line for our city? That will be a Sikadro economy. That will be a blood money economy, and we do not want to be a part of it. We believe that through ingenuity and conscious creativity, we can bring Galamsey to a halt. We can manage our resources, our cocoa. We can bring in other ideas to make sure that we manage this economy very well. We don't need to put the life of Ghanaians on the line so that we can stabilize our economy.
Thank you very much.
We will be part of it, and we reject that call.
Thank you very much,
Thank you for having me.
Edward Tutor is a member of the Fix the Country movement. They embarked on a street protest today against illegal mining, urging the president to declare state of emergency in areas affected by the Galamsey menace. You're still watching the Channel 1 Newsroom here on Channel 1 TV. Still to come. Sponsors of the 2025 City Business Olympics, UNB Bank promise attendees a day that combines sport and competition with networking opportunities. We have details in a bit. Please stay with us.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
It's on SuperSport all season long. Pay your subscription today. Dial *759#. Available on DSTV and GoTV.
Hey Ghana, so you people know Miss Brother Man Small. If you knew, it's your boy. Kill them all, kill them all. But this time, I'm not only killing mosquitoes, I am killing the great. See? This wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have the perfect mosquito-free atmosphere. Thank you, Out Insecticide. And yeah, Out Mosquito Coil. For a mosquito-free atmosphere, trust Out to... You are not serious.
Out Insecticide. So ya boa, faha.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Yeah, you go be the luckiest. Go be from Georgia, be luckiest. From not the pure cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God the apple boom. If you put it toy, so would the coming of the son of man be. Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
DSTV means choosing.
Amazing acting.
Face friending while streaming.
Front row at the gaming and super fanning while on the going. Winning, binging and blockbustering. While others are white ricing, you're jolloffing.
This looks so good.
With something for everyone, anything is possible when you're DSTVing. Start today with all sorts of packages to match your...
Welcome back. This is the Channel 1 Newsroom on Channel 1 TV. Next is Channel 1 Business with Telenetu Ajao.
Channel 1 Business is brought to you by MTN and EcoBank.
How may I help you today?
We'd like to open a bank account.
City Business Olympics coming up this weekend.
Yes, that's like so much excitement, but let's see who wins. GCB has been taking it for a number of years, and I'm hoping that another company takes it.
You are hoping?
Yes, because they've taken it for a long time.
All right, take it away.
Okay, before we go to that story, Ghana's grain sector is on the brink of crisis with more than 100,000 metric tons of maize and rice from the 2024 harvest still unsold. The situation has left farmers heavily indebted and threatens the survival of local processors. According to the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana, the
glasses and duties are depriving government of much-needed resources. It urges swift maize and rice sector more competitive against imports.
On TV, sponsor of the 2025 City Business Olympics, UMB Bank, commended the bank Lawrence Esel-Baden added that the event provides
Hasmo.
At the Awawo extension
water gushing out. It tells you clearly that this place is certainly a wetland and no here is illegal. First and foremost, they don't have the proper land documentation to be able to undertake a huge construction.
Baby, I didn't akura no muntumin dura. Baby, police for do on we for no. Ne akwarif ya kwa danene recycle ne ya plastic chairs, plastic posts. Enti juma yawo krobe baby ya juma no your workers almost 70. Asafu your workers 120.
Municipal